All right. Today's code challenge is a special session because we are recording to show all the applicants how study sessions go down, to give them kind of a peek inside the study session. So this session is going to be a condensed version of the study sessions, which are usually 2 hours. What happens in the sessions is we all go over either one of their assignments from like the 113 free code camp or just like introductory code challenge. Today we are doing, what is this code challenge? The sum of two numbers. I'll share in a moment. But you go over that, then you go in breakout rooms for about 15, 20 minutes with other people who can have a wide array of foundations. So maybe they've never coded a day in their lives, or maybe they've been self-studying for a while. And so y'all go in the breakout room specifically to work on your collaboration, to work on the problem together. And then after that time frame, you come back together with me in the larger room or another staff member, and then we solve it together. We go over solutions, and we talk about things, we talk about what we learned, we talk about what we do, don't like, and then the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes are reserved for Q&A about that. So I'm going to share a link to the people on the call. Oh man, I lost it. Okay, hold on. Let me share this link. Hopefully y'all can see what it is. And then I will also share my screen so that we have that on the recording. This is the prompt that we will be solving for. Let me know if that link that I just sent y'all didn't work. Usually we use Replit, but Replit is doing its own thing, putting things on the paywall. So the prompt is create a function that takes two numbers as arguments and returns their sum. And then we have some examples here. So we have a function that takes in two parameters and the parentheses. There's a 3 and a 2 for this example. And so the assumption is the output should be 5. And so we have to figure out the in-between. How did they go from the 3 and the 2 to get the 5? Our other examples are -3 and a -6. And that gave them a -9. And then we also have a 7 and a 3, and that gave them 10. And then in the notes, it says, don't forget to return the result and check for edge cases. What the heck are edge cases, y'all? Have you ever heard of that before? I see you going off in the chat. Unexpected cases. Say more. What does an unexpected case mean?
So edge cases is checking just to see if they're just like cases outside of your problem, essentially. So things that you want to account for that might not, that, like, for example, testing a string, right? What happens if your input is a string? So doing things like that.
Yes, I love the example of testing for a data type that you don't expect. Our example, or passing numbers. What if somebody doesn't pass a number? What if they're like addition? I want to pass in yes and no. What happens? Right? That's an edge case. Does anybody want to add to the definition? That was a really good definition. Okay, let's talk about pair programming because you are going to go into breakout rooms and I want to make sure that everybody understands what pair programming is. What is it? What is a driver? What is a navigator? Have you ever heard of this thing before? Tell me what you know.
It's like we'll work together to solve the problem or the code challenge.
Yeah, who does what? What is the driver doing? I see in the chat, it's a study dynamic where one person is writing the code and the other person is giving instructions. Yes. So the person that's typing the code and kind of using their mouse to navigate is the driver, right? Just like driving a car, you move things around, but maybe in the passenger seat, you have somebody. In the olden days, we would have a physical map. We read off instructions. That's the navigator, right? So the navigator is the person that's audibly, verbally giving instructions. Ooh, iPhone navigator in the chat. The navigator is telling the driver, okay, this is what I want you to type. This is what we should go research. And so you're working together. That dynamic of collaboration is really important. Do we have anything that we want to add to this definition? This is great, y'all. All right, so I am gonna set up the breakout rooms. Y'all are gonna go in there for, let's say, 15 minutes. And then I'll pop you back into this room. On the recording, we will not see y'all in the breakout room. So let me set those up. Breakout rooms. I'm creating them. Does everybody have access to the prompt? Cool. Let's see, thumbs up. I'm opening the breakout rooms right now. I'm gonna pause our recording. Oh, I was on mute. I'm not on mute anymore. Welcome back from the breakout rooms, y'all. What did you learn about pair programming? What did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy?
I guess I can go. I really enjoy pseudocoding out the problems. And then when we did solve the problem, I did enjoy testing or essentially adding more conditionals to test for edge cases. And then also going above and beyond to see if we can do other things with the code to make it more simplistic for users.
Yes. Does anyone want to add? What did you learn? What did you experience in your breakout room?
I did mine really simple, or my idea was really simple, but the person I was working with really provided like a way, like I had no idea you could code it that way or like return that way. So it was interesting to see a different person's like perspective on how they would approach it was different from mine.
Yes. And since y'all are actually in the program, did you recognize this problem?
No.
You did this problem. What are you on week 12? You did this problem 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
3 weeks ago, week 9. Was it easier this time around?
By a lot.
Nice. All right, let's jump into some pseudocode. Let's work it out. What should we be considerate of first? Pseudocode. Maybe validating the parameters. So what I mean by that is before we even do addition, we need to confirm that the inputs are numbers, right? That was one of our edge cases. We should have 2 inputs. Ooh. I can use type of. Ooh, using type of. We can. I always forget. Is type of with a capital O? And a conditional. I'm doing the lowercase b. Okay, I think it's a lowercase though. And that, so we have 2 parameters. I like that call out. That's a great edge case. No, I don't want to leave. Okay, we also need to perform addition, right? What are you performing addition on?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
The 2 parameters, yes. On the 2 parameter. Okay, do we want to handle negative numbers? I think that was one of our examples. Handle negative numbers. Okay. And what about zeros? Is that an edge case? Do we want to handle that, or do we want to do all these things first? We should return an output that is the sum of 2 parameters, strings and booleans. Consider inputs that are string or boolean. If I can type. Okay, is this enough to get us started, or are there any holes in our logic? Do we need to consider anything else? Is this actually pseudocoding, or is this just English output of what we're thinking? Is this good enough? Yeah? All right. We already got a function name, so I'm going to copy that from our examples. Chat is going up. Let's see what y'all are saying. We need to return a statement. Ooh. Return what? You should put in the output that is the sum not the screen to show the result should look like. Tell me more. What's our return statement? What are we outputting? Return the sum of inputs?
But I'm like, oh, we're flying to.
Yes.
Thanksgiving,
Anything else?
you know, to see the kids and the grandkids, and I'm like.
No. Okay. All right. So our function is called addition because that's what our example gave us. Int 1, maybe? And int 2, is that what we're gonna call it?
Because I don't.
Yeah, okay. You gotta check if both of them are numbers. That's what we said. Validate the parameters, right? That's our first check. Okay, so how do we do that? Somebody said a conditional. Somebody said using type of and conditional. So what do I do? Help me out.
The conditional can be if parameters are type of equals number.
I'm typing in the chat. Okay, so if type of
Int 1 equals number and type of int 2 equals number.
and are we just doing a singular?
It should be strictly equal.
Hey, thank you for clarifying. And then I'm just gonna copy this because who wants to type all that out again? Is this what you mean?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so what next? What next? We can also use a ternary statement. Ooh, let's optimize after we get everything on the page. Mike, can you tell us what a ternary statement is for those that don't know what that is?
It's just an easier way to write an if-else statement. So instead, we just write a conditional, and if that's true, you return the first. Let's say for this case, we'll just return int 1 plus int 2. If it's not true, we'll return. At least in my group, we return a string that say please input a number.
Awesome. Thank you for helping me to write that additional piece of content. So let's write this out and then see if we can optimize it. What do you think? What needs to go inside of our conditional? Return int do. Okay. Can I run this? Would this work?
Yeah. That would be. Yeah.
Cases. Tell me more. What do you mean cases? Test cases. Aha. Okay. So can I just copy our example? Yeah. Copy. We need console log. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna plug in our numeric examples because it kind of already has what we're hoping for there. What do y'all think? Is that good enough? What is our expected output? We didn't bring that down. So 5, -9, and 10, right? Period. Okay, thank you for throwing that into the chat. Okay, so if I just run this, that's what we should get over here on the right side in the console. What do you think? Yes, if the function works. Okay, let's hit the run button. Ooh, ah. Okay, so how could we optimize this? You said we could possibly use a ternary statement. I want to write that. Ooh, now add the Boolean. Ooh, help me.
They're just looking at each other. It's real business.
Add in a test case. So add in for the console log addition, run another case where you put in true and false as the inputs.
What do we think is going to happen? What's our expected output?
I actually don't know.
Well,
I wrote a code so well that it accounted for this already.
did we account for that here? Do
But
we
we
have an
haven't wrote a
output? Yeah, so maybe we should write an else
no.
statement.
Yeah. We could put a string that's like return a string that says like please put in an input value. Or like a number
Please
input
put a
value.
number input value. For a parameter. I want to be more specific. Okay, is that good enough? What do you think? Okay, should I hit run?
Already.
Let me put this in our expected output here. Okay. Cool. Okay, we accounted for not numbers now.
Yeah.
So what's another edge case that I could test for? We tested for Booleans, we tested for numbers. I see strings coming at us. Okay. I just turned the Booleans into strings. Okay, so we should see that twice, right? Okay, cool. What about other data types? That's not a string or Boolean. Do you think that would work? Like an array? I don't know. Array. 1, 2. Is this gonna work? We don't know. Let's try it. So we did. We got this. Okay, cool. All right. So we solved. We got a bunch of edge cases. We did some pseudocode. It looks like we are at the end for the most part of our study session. Do y'all have questions about the application process? Think back. What questions did you have about the application process? Or if we reframe that, since you're actually in the program, what do you think people should know? Go ahead.
Oh no, MJ can go.
I was just gonna say they should know to go to the study groups. That's what I tell anyone who's interested, go to the study groups. It's very important.
Can you say why? Why should they go?
It just helps you get a feel of the program for one. If you are struggling with any of the prerequisites, it's good to just kind of go through those problems. You become more comfortable with pair programming. It's just countless ways of how the study sessions help.
Ma, you were gonna say something.
Yeah. Oh, when you're gone.
I guess like a good question to ask is how Techtonica's learning model is different from a traditional classroom model. I think that's something that it's important to know ahead of time.
Yes. So you are not coming to lectures. We have knowledge sharing sessions where we go over something that maybe you would have been exposed to in your curriculum that day, or maybe the following day. And so we try to set you up to understand the implementation, but we are not teaching you the whole day. You are learning these things on your own and collaboratively with your cohort mates. You got to put in the work and the intention to make sure that you're doing that. Okay. Yes, we have data that follows you along in the program to indicate to us, hey, this person needs help in this area, or maybe something's going on in their life and they need a little bit more attention that week. And then also to indicate where you are doing really well in. But ultimately, you have to show up for yourself and communicate to staff like, hey, I really don't understand this thing. Because maybe we might not get those numbers until the end of the week, and it's the beginning of the week, and you're like, I just can't. And so make sure you go to office hours with the mentors who are professionals in the industry, dedicating their time. They find us and come here to support y'all because they love the mission. And they're like, I have this knowledge. Let me impart it on you. Go to the session because they are here for you. I would also love to hear from y'all on the call since you're in the program. What would your answer to that question be? How is Techtonica learning about the difference?
It's one that I really resonate with since I struggled with like a traditional kind of learning school structure. So having that autonomy to, be able to dig into this information and this knowledge is very helpful for me, not having that structure where I have to like sit and listen to someone talk for like an hour, because I don't do well with that. But at the same time, having the support, if as you're looking into this information, if you get stuck on anything, having the staff and the mentors there has been just essential to my learning through the program.
I agree with MJ. And I guess this is not really an answer to the question, but like to tag along with it, it is like a lot of information you're having to like learn on your own and figure out by yourself. And so sometimes I know that for me, there were times when I may get behind or I would feel nervous to enter meetings where I felt like everybody else knew everything and I didn't. And just to say, like, even if you get behind, like, go to those meetings because you will still learn something. And it's okay to like with all the information you need to learn, like you're not going to learn everything, but that's completely okay because you're going to continue to learn throughout the program. So like don't feel discouraged if you notice people are like in these like sessions that you meet together, like, oh, know all these things that you had no idea. Like just take it as like, oh, you get to learn from them as well. So just putting that out there because I know it's a lot going into the program and during it. So yeah.
Yes, I can also answer this since I know who asked the question. Um, I also felt like Techtonica is so very project based, so you get a lot of hands-on experience building applications, which I think for me is really useful as someone who enjoys building things and systems. I find that I learn faster when I can have something that to work towards, and so for me, it's been really fruitful in that way, as opposed to a traditional classroom where I feel like I have to sit and study all this material before I even get to application.
I really love this question, Mai. I'll also add that this program is really flexible. We like to tailor it to your experience. So whether that's individually and you need some sort of accommodation in the way that you're consuming the resources or the way it's presented to you or the way that you submit assignments, we really like to hear from you as a collective and as individuals. So we'll work around what you need to be the most successful in the program. So what that looks like for some people may be different for the entire cohort. Maybe it means we adjust the curriculum to make sure that everybody has more time with one topic because you've all communicated like, hey, you really don't understand this as a collective. Or maybe as an individual, you're like, this is way too much. I can't turn in this assignment on my own. I need accountability. Maybe I need staff to be on a call with me and do this as a live coding submission instead of asynchronously. We can do that too. Maybe it means that the curriculum, the way it's presented to you, we call out what's just for learning, what's essential to be turned in. So hearing that feedback is also really important. What other questions, y'all?
Mine's not a question, but kind of going along with some of what everyone else has said is like, and I think you said it earlier of, showing up for yourself in the program and by going to the study sessions, but also like you can start showing up for yourself now and taking in as much information about, this material that you can and like watch YouTube videos, go to the free code camp and just like keep practicing before the program even starts, because the more foundation you build for yourself now, the easier the transition will be once you're in the program learning everything.
Yeah, I love that. I'll also say, and y'all are used to me saying this, and the applicants are going to be used to me saying this, but the people that you are applying with are just as much as a part of your network as the people that you may be in the cohort with. Remember, Techtonica is just a little tiny piece in your career path to be a technical person in tech. And some people may do the self-studying and find, hey, I'm not really interested in software engineering, but I really like design or I really like technical program management. Keep these people in your circle because as you find what works for you, they're gonna go to bat for you. They know all the hard work that you put into it, and they're gonna say, "Hey, this role is open," or "Hey, let me give you a referral." Once they're at a company, to keep those relationships fresh. Thank you, participants, for recording this session with me. For all the applicants out there, current and future, really appreciate your time. Alrighty. Bye, everyone. I'll see you in the later session.